either younger than us or, passed and retired. So why not? I want to challenge myself. The best always looking to fight the best and challenge themselves, and why not, challenge.
Terence Crawford can't beat him, right? This is a money grab for Terence Crawford. It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy.
But if you study Floyd closely, like I have, you will notice that he never wastes any steps while he's in the ring.
Terence Crawford reportedly accepted Floyd Mayweather's fight offer during a live interview with Stephen A. Smith. Crawford stated that, for him, boxing is about testing his limits and embracing challenges, no matter how big. He stressed that the best should face the best, and he is prepared to step up once again. With calm confidence, Crawford made it clear that taking on Mayweather is another opportunity to prove himself and exceed every expectation.
Businessman, because this is Terrence the businessman talking, right? They got to pay the cheddar to make it better, right?
For sure, for sure. All money ain't good money, so you got to know that.
Okay, fair enough. I hate to use the word easy, but at times it did feel like you were, having a really easy time out there. Were you expecting it to play out that way?
Listen, it's never easy,
Roy Jones Jr., a legend who understands what it takes to dominate across multiple divisions, has praised Crawford's brilliance inside the ring. He highlighted that in Crawford's bout with Canelo Alvarez, Crawford showcased an ability to draw from the arsenals of Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara, two fighters who had given Canelo trouble in different ways. According to Jones, this capacity to observe, learn, and then apply effective strategies is what makes Crawford exceptional. It proves he is not only a gifted fighter, but also a keen student of boxing. What impressed Jones most was that Crawford didn't merely copy these techniques. He adapted them to his own rhythm, making them even more effective in real-time situations. This adaptability, Jones explained, sets him apart from many fighters who rely on a single style and falter against elite competition.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab. He used his distance. He had poise in the ring. He wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's part.
The possibility of Terence Crawford stepping into the ring with Floyd Mayweather, even in an exhibition match, has sparked heated debate. Critics argue that such a fight could tarnish Crawford's legacy. They believe that instead of building on his historic victories, like dismantling Errol Spence and outclassing Canelo Alvarez, he would appear to be chasing financial gain rather than competitive glory. This criticism stems from the fact that Mayweather's recent career has revolved around lucrative exhibition bouts rather than legacy-defining contests. Analysts caution that Crawford has worked too hard to risk being viewed as someone who values money over history. On the other hand, some insist that Crawford's legacy is already secure, and if he decides to fight Mayweather, it would simply add another intriguing chapter to his remarkable
As Canelo
story.
Alvarez has been a great fighter his whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier and more meaner than both of those guys. So if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there, take that blueprint, and do even more with it, which is what Bud did. So it was never a question in my mind whether Bud really was going to outbox me. It's just if he could take the punch. And right away he showed, bam, he could take the punch. So I know from that point, if he just slow him down, which he did, he'd be okay. Then late in the fight, what other people still didn't see, late in the fight, Bud started hitting Canelo's body. One of those body shots, I think about the 7th or 8th round, hurt Canelo. I was like, whoa. Bud hit him in the right spot then, and he got Canelo's respect with that too. So Bud fought a very, very awesome fight, fought a beautiful fight, very tactical.
Very controlled.
Yes, it was a beautiful fight for boxing.
It was a beautiful fight. Bud got hit with some shots.
He did. He did.
He got hit with some single shots going out. He's going out, and Canelo, if he has you trapped in the corner or along the ropes, it's typically 1 to 2 big shots. You know that if you've watched him.
Yep.
So you could tell Crawford, as he was going out, he knew the one shot was coming, and several times it landed. He even got hit with a 2-piece. I don't remember what round it was, uppercut right hand that Crawford took well. So when you started seeing him absorb the shots, if you're Team Crawford, you don't want him to take that shot. But if you started seeing that, now you know that, okay. And I think that's what gave Crawford the green light to stay there a little bit longer.
He smiled about it.
He smiled about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that smile can be a lie. And sometimes that smile can mean what I think it meant for Crawford, which is, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
When fans compare the careers of Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford, the discussion quickly becomes complex. Mayweather's resume features victories over some of the biggest names in boxing. However, his critics often highlight the timing of those wins. Canelo Alvarez was still young and inexperienced when he fought Floyd, while Manny Pacquiao entered their long-awaited 2015 clash carrying an injury. In addition, Mayweather's reluctance to grant rematches, particularly with Pacquiao, left lingering doubts among fans. Crawford's dominance, on the other hand, has largely come against opponents who were viewed as being in their prime. This contrast continues to fuel debates over whether Mayweather's flawless record was purely a reflection of his skill or partly the result of calculated timing and matchmaking.
It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy. This is what was being said, right? This is what people perceived. Terence Crawford was just attempting to cash out.
Tony Jeff, a respected boxing analyst, has highlighted that Floyd Mayweather's greatest weapon wasn't just his defense or speed, it was his mindset. According to Jeff, Mayweather's unshakable belief that he could defeat anyone made him truly dangerous. Even in bouts where the odds appeared close, Floyd's confidence, paired with his exceptional boxing IQ, consistently gave him the upper hand. His ability to read opponents, adjust within seconds, and remain calm under pressure separated him from fighters who relied solely on physical talent. Jeff noted that this psychological edge, combined with technical mastery, made Mayweather seem nearly unbeatable, and it's the reason he retired with an unblemished record. The boxing world is always eager for compelling matchups, and lately one of the most discussed possibilities is Terence Crawford facing David Benavidez. Benavidez brings size, power, and relentless aggression, qualities that pose a unique challenge. Many fans view this potential fight as the kind of risk that could push Crawford beyond anything he has previously encountered. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the speculation continues to grow. This debate highlights the hunger among fans for high-stakes, legacy-defining bouts rather than exhibition spectacles that prioritize financial gain over sporting value. Crawford versus Benavidez would embody skill versus size, precision versus aggression, a true dream fight for boxing enthusiasts.
Strong mindset, they're really confident, they really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work harder. If you think about losing, you're gonna lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013, when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece.
Comparing Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford is a debate without a definitive answer. Both men faced the best opponents available in their respective eras, and both emerged with dominant victories. Mayweather's flawless record and defensive brilliance made him a standout of his generation, while Crawford's ability to rise through weight classes and maintain dominance is equally remarkable. What complicates the debate is that their careers unfolded in different eras under different circumstances, making a direct comparison nearly impossible. In the end, it may not be about deciding who is greater, but recognizing that both embody the highest standards of boxing excellence.
Not me, but shocked the world. This past Saturday, Mexican Independence Day weekend, what he took on defeated another first ballot Hall of Famer, but he essentially jumped up 3 weight classes, technically 2, from 154 to 168, but only had 1 fight at 154 last August against Israel Majimov. Terence Crawford defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight, and the reigning, at the time, super middleweight world champion. Undisputed world champion. And Terence Crawford beat him handily and convincingly. And because he beat him so easily, now the 63 win, 3 loss, 2 draw, 39 win by way of knockout, biggest threat has been now imposed on Terence Bud Crawford. And that's the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez, who is a 2-division undefeated world champion, is the 2-time WBC super middleweight and reigning WBC light heavyweight, 175-pound champion, who has a record of 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. He stands 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. This is a fight that David Benavidez has been calling for Canelo Alvarez when he was at 168, and Canelo Alvarez strategically maneuvered around him. But Canelo Alvarez is 5'7", with a 70-inch arm reach, started his career at 147 pounds, made his real name at 154 pounds. He's not a big guy, okay? And styles make fights. Benavidez is 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. His last fight at 168 against Demetrius Andrade, he rehydrated to 193. So he's a big guy. Canelo Alvarez probably rehydrate to 182, maybe 185 max, right? he's not a big guy, right?
Terence Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez was a career-defining moment that erased any lingering doubts about his greatness. Before that, his dominant win against Errol Spence had already silenced many critics who questioned the level of his opposition. Against Spence, Crawford demonstrated complete control from start to finish. But it was the dismantling of Canelo, long regarded as nearly untouchable, that cemented his place in boxing history. Analysts now widely agree that with these victories, Crawford has ended the debate over his standing among the all-time greats. His ability to outclass champions across multiple divisions proves his dominance beyond question.